So about 8 years ago, I made my first ever countdown, my top 5 favorite Metroid boss battles. And I figured in honor of my YouTube channel's 10th anniversary, I'd go back over the Metroid series and talk about my top 10 favorite Metroid bosses. Now keep in mind this is only my opinion, and not the end-all be-all to what is the best bosses in the series. With that out of the way, let's begin. Starting off this list is a boss that I've loved to fight for years now, Metroid Fusion's boss known as the Yakuza. This giant spider is oddly enough the only time in the games to my knowledge outside of maybe Emperor Ing that we fight a spider-like creature, which you would think would be a more common occurrence. But anyway, the reason I like it is because it's actually a rather challenging but fair boss fight. It fires fireballs on the ground to damage you, while it crawls all over the place, making it harder to hit. And the only time it's vulnerable to damage is when it stops and opens its mouth to fire more fireballs at you. But with a sizable amount of super missiles to the mouth, it'll lose its legs and start spinning around the room, dropping pieces of itself as it does so. But once you kill it and destroy the Quadraxis, it gives you the best movement item in the game, the Space Jump. Metroid Dread is filled with fantastic bosses, and for this spot I definitely had to pick Cray. Cray is the first real challenging boss in Dread, at least it was for me. I didn't have any problem fighting other bosses before Cray, but I died to Cray at least 4 times before I beat it properly. But the main reason I put Cray on this list is the unique way you can kill it. See, if you manage to sequence break and get the Morph Ball Bomb before fighting it, you can access a secret launcher that fires you directly into Cray's gut, where you can plant multiple bombs to kill it from the inside. Definitely a memorable boss, and one of my personal favorites. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is my favorite Metroid game, so of course it also holds one of my favorite boss battles. Towards the end of the Torvus Bog section of the game, you finally fight the Temple Guardian known as the Chykka. The fight first starts with you knocking a cocoon into the purple water, which hatches to reveal the Chykka's larval form. This form floats around the arena like a shark hunting its prey. Once it's dead, it falls into the water, forming another cocoon around it, and eventually hatches into its adult form, a giant 4-winged moth that hovers around the arena, making it difficult to shoot. But once it's stunned, you can shoot its wings until it falls in the purple water yet again, transforming into the dark adult Chykka, that fires its kids at you as well as purple acid. This boss is complex and very fun to face. It brilliantly utilizes all your abilities to different effects, and it's an excellent conclusion to the Torvus Bog. For Super Metroid, I could have picked bosses like Ridley or Phantoon, but I decided on a very unique niche pick. I actually think Crocomire is my favorite boss in the game. I know it's considered one of, if not the weakest boss, but it's fun to fight for me. It's the only boss that you can't technically hurt. All your attacks just make it back up further and further. This eventually causes it to fall into the acidic lava to the right of the screen, which causes its flesh to literally melt off of its body. And once you think it's over, you walk away to the other side and it breaks the wall of spikes only for its skeleton to come out and just fall to the ground unceremoniously. Very memorable and absolutely my favorite boss of Super Metroid. I talked about this boss in my original video, and I gotta admit I still love facing Gandrayda. Gandrayda is a very unique and hard to hit boss, using her athleticism and tiny frame to dodge her shots and missiles, occasionally turning into her hyper which will throw damage from your attacks, and she even lunges at you and you have to shake her off. Gandrayda is definitely my favorite boss in Prime 3, and I look forward to fighting her every time I boot the game up. Metroid Other M gets a lot of flack from the community, and it is warranted. The story sucks, but I think many Metroid fans tend to use that as an excuse to hate the game as a whole. But to be honest, the gameplay is extremely fun, especially the bosses. Now I could have picked Nightmare again like I did all those years ago, but I figured I'd do something a little bit different and pick the true final boss, Phantoon. No idea how Phantoon got revived and ended up outside the space station, but I can easily overlook that because this boss is extremely fun. It's complex, fires at you constantly, and can take some serious punishment. It even has unique attacks it doesn't have in Super Metroid, like firing giant hands of dark energy at you. Altogether, it's an excellent cap on such a flawed game. Metroid Samus Returns came out in 2017, after a severe drought of Metroid games, and I think the game definitely delivers. Its gameplay is amazing, and exploring SR-388 is fun and challenging. And the hardest boss in the game, the Diggernaut, used to be the boss I hated the most. It killed me multiple times, probably over 20, before I finally put the sucker down. Ironically enough, my first ever quote YouTube short was me showing off me giving it the final blow while I was still homeless. But the thing that made him like the boss for me was likely how I used cheat codes. It made the boss patterns easier to manage and made it easier to kill. Its arsenal of weapons and attacks make it probably one of the Metroid series' hardest ever bosses. But nowadays, I always love fighting it. Now to be honest, I wasn't originally planning on including this guy on one of my favorites list, but during my most recent playthrough of Metroid Dread, I started liking this boss more and more. Much like Samus Returns' Diggernaut, Experiment number Z57 is a complex multi-phase fight that challenges you on everything you've learned up to that point. But the main reason I put it this high is actually because I like Cray. It has a unique interaction with one of your abilities, in this case the Speed Booster. If you can force the experiment to turn the room's fans on, you can activate your Speed Booster and shine Spark directly into its head to kill it instantly. When I found this out, it became my main way of defeating the boss every time I fight it, and it makes me love this boss quite a lot. Metroid Prime was the first Metroid game I ever played, and it doesn't have a lot of bosses, but besides the first 3 bosses, I like almost every single one of them. And to reconcile for a pick I made in my original video, instead of selecting Thardos for this spot, I'm picking Meta Ridley, of course. Meta Ridley is the penultimate boss of Metroid Prime, and it definitely lives up to the hype. It's powerful, its plasma attacks and explosives can keep you on your toes, and on top of that, one of the best ways of fighting it is to use the boost ball into its chest when it lands on the ground. I didn't do this in the footage shown because I used the Phazon Beam, but Meta Ridley is still one of my favorite Metroid bosses for a good reason. Come on, you knew this was coming. No way can I not put Quadraxis as my favorite Metroid boss of all time. It's a huge quadrupedal mech that has one of the biggest arsenals to fight against you. It can create shockwaves with its feet, stomping around the arena. You have no light crystals to protect you, so you're constantly on a timer to defeat it. It can fire missiles, laser beams, and of course the Annihilator Beam at you. To defeat it, you need to blow up its knees, which will cause its head to detach and start flying around the arena. Then you need to stop and sever the connection between the head and body using your Echo Visor. And finally, you need to stun it so you can boost ball on top of its head and bomb it twice. This fight is multi-phased, complex, and difficult, and all those factors are what make it the #1 favorite Metroid boss battle for me personally. So that's it. For my 10-year channel anniversary, I decided to remake my oldest countdown, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know what Metroid bosses are your favorites in the comment section down below, and that'll do it for me. So this has been ZDS, making it fun one video at a time, and I will see you guys in the next one.